everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about my September TBR, and if we're being honest, this may totally change. I thought a little bit about making an autumn TBR, but I know myself and I know that I like to pick up things relatively soon to when I'm going to be reading them. So I thought I would go ahead and try and pick out some books just for this month that I really want to get to, really want to read, and I wanted to share them with you. So go ahead, grab yourself a pumpkin spice latte with oat milk or goat's milk or almond milk or whatever you feel like. Grab yourself something different, something stronger if you need to. But let's jump into it. I have 6 books I want to show you. The first 2 were actually given to me for my birthday. So they're brand new, which is kind of exciting and different for me. But the first one I heard about on BookTube is called Waterfall of Stars by Rosanne Alexander. And then the subtitle, My 10 Years on the Island of Skomer. I love nature writing. I love nature writing that takes place in really isolated places. And I love it even more when it's based on a true story. So the main character in this book decides that she wants to take this position on the island of Skomer and commit 10 years basically to natural observation and working this wildlife job. And a part of the condition of taking this job is that she has to be married. So she has a very short notice on which to do this. She ends up marrying her boyfriend, and the two of them commit this very long-term commitment to living in isolation and kind of all the challenges that come with that. I'm really excited to pick this one up. If you saw my last video, this is sort of reminiscent of the Abby Jenny book that I recommended. If you haven't seen that, you should go ahead and check it out. But I've heard really good things about this. It has great readings on Goodreads, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this soon. The next book is one that is probably going to be not new to anybody, but it's The Other Bennett Sister. This was also one of my birthday gifts that I was really excited about. It's a chunker. But this book, if you haven't heard of it, it tells the story of Mary Bennet from Pride and Prejudice and kind of what she went through and experienced as a woman during that time period, who didn't really have any prospects for marriage, didn't really have a desire to live a life like her sisters, kind of introverted, quiet. I've heard fantastic things about this as well. I read Pride and Prejudice earlier this summer, a couple of months ago, for the first time. I'm a huge fan of the 2005 Keira Knightley movie. I know that's very controversial. I know a lot of people prefer the BBC movie, but I love it. And after reading the book, I was really surprised actually how true to Jane Austen's words the script from that video was. But anyway, long story short, I have some other Jane Austen that I've ordered in the mail, and I thought that before I kind of switched things up, I would read this, kind of wrap things out with my Pride and Prejudice reads. But if you've read this and you liked it, let me know. Very excited to get to this one as well. This is a little bit longer, so I'm anticipating that this is going to take a little bit of a while to finish. The next book I have on my TBR is Barbara Kingsolver, Prodigal Summer. I love Barbara Kingsolver. I came across her writing for the first time this year, and I've been slowly trying to work my way through some of her books. I've read the Poisonwood Bible, and I've also read Flight Behaviors. Flight Behaviors was set in Appalachia, and that's actually where the author lived quite a bit of her life, and I really enjoyed the nature writing that was a part of that. And all of the reviews of this said that it was one of her stronger pieces of nature writing. I don't know a whole lot about this. The description doesn't really go into a whole lot of detail other than saying it's going to take you through these 3 characters' lives and how they intersect and some sort of relationships that form as a result. But this just seemed the most similar to Flight Behavior, and given how much I enjoyed that, I thought this one would be a good one to pick up next before I kind of start exploring some of her other books. But I'm looking forward to this one as well. I was kind of surprised at how long this is, but I think she has a way of making things long. If you've read the Poisonwood Bible, you know what I'm talking about. The next novel is an older one, but one I'm still excited for, and I haven't heard talked about a whole lot. It's The First Bad Man by Miranda July. I actually had read one of her other books. Oh, just look at this. Isn't that cool? The inside cover. This is a used book, so it's kind of all like junked up, but I really like the different colors. But I read her other book, No One Belongs Here More Than You, short stories. I wasn't a huge fan of it. Sometimes for me, it's like hit or miss with what short stories I'm going to like. So I think I want to give one of Miranda July's novels a try. I picked this up because I really liked how eccentric the plot sounded, and actually reminded me quite a bit of one of my favorite authors. What's her name? Paul Butler, who wrote Jillian, and she also wrote A New Me. She kind of writes a lot about work and the just general condition of like being in a capitalist society, but she makes it really funny. It makes it really interesting, like kind of examining the monotony of young women's lives. This book deals with a main character who is described as not really living in reality. I believe she has these fantasies about her boss, and she's really used to living alone. She doesn't like children, but then one day her boss at her job asked if her, I think 22-year-old daughter can live with her for a while, and it describes the daughter in the cover flap as bullying her into reality. So I'm just excited. I think this is going to be a fun one, and hopefully will revitalize my thoughts on Miranda July. And then the next book is also a bit of an older one. We've got a good mix of old and new, I suppose, in this haul. This is The Idiot by Elif Batuman. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I know this one was popular a couple years ago. I feel like this book was the original millennial pink cover, and that's why a lot of people ended up picking it up. And then you had like Severance come out, and then all these other books started having these like beautiful pink spines. I think this was definitely the trendsetter, but I hadn't picked this up at the time because, if I'm being honest, the cover didn't really look all that interesting to me, and that's my own fault. I liked the color, but I saw a rock on the front, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll pass on that. I never took the time really to find out more of what it was about, but I recently saw someone review it, and they basically described it for what it was, which is a campus novel about a young woman who starts at Harvard and trying to navigate friendships and relationships, and she ends up spending the summer in Hungary, and it's not what she imagined college life or breaks from college would be like. I am obsessed with Eastern Europe. I wrote my master's thesis on Eastern Europe. I've spent time there before, and I'm always really attracted to fiction and nonfiction books alike that deal with that part of the globe. So I got really excited when I put two and two together and realized that a Pulitzer Prize finalist had been set in this area of the world that I'm very interested in, and had kind of dealt with someone my age who maybe had somewhat similar experiences during like her travels. So I don't know a whole lot more beyond that, but I'm excited to finally pick this one up, even though it's maybe a bit later. And then the final book, which I've already started, and again, this doesn't need a lot of explanation, but I'm nonetheless really excited to finally be reading it, is Wuthering Heights by Emily Brontë. Emily Bronte's only novel. I have decided this year that I want to read all of the Brontë sisters' major works. I have not picked up any Anne yet, but I've been working my way through Charlotte, and now I'm pausing to read some Emily. And then I have some more Anne and Charlotte on the way in the mail. I think next I'm going to turn to Shirley, actually. But I'm halfway through. I really want to try and finish this today. It's deceptively long looking. I feel like the pages are actually fairly short. But I'm really, really enjoying this. It's the love story of Heathcliff and Catherine, and what happens when they try and be together and how that affects the people around them. I'm really just enjoying the scenery, and again, the isolation, and Emily's description of the moors and this very atmospheric place. I know this is a classic, so I'm happy I'm finally picking it up and continuing with my Brontë readathon, my readathon with myself. But if you have any Brontë favorites or any books that you really enjoy, let me know. I'm definitely looking for suggestions on what to pick up next. But yeah, this is September so far. Yep. We'll see if I can do this. I think I can. Looking forward to sharing my thoughts on these with all of you, and I'll see you soon.